Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It means a lot to me that you're there. I wanted to thank you very much for subscribing to my channel, and thank you very much for all the positive, supportive comments on all of my videos so far. Thank you very much for all of your likes as well, and I will do my best to keep on bringing you some really good content that will be helpful and valuable to you, and hoping that you might pass on my videos on to other people so that they can have added support and help that they might need for their projects or other things that they have going on. And so, taking a bit of a break right now from all of the music videos, the American Airlines music videos. I'll be getting more to those here soon. But today, I got my wife's car. It's a 2005 Honda Civic EX, a special edition. And the situation today is the same situation that's been going on for the last good 6 to 8 months. Where what happens is that my wife will take her car into the car wash, where it may not always happen, but oftentimes take it to the car wash, all that soap and water will eventually make its way down onto the floor mat there and make a good puddle of water. And so that means is that the water is leaking through the fresh air vent, is getting the air filters for the cabin all saturated with water, loaded all up and plugged all up with water, so air can't flow through it. And then you have this large puddle of water here on the floor mat. So it's a relatively easy fix. So if that same thing is happening to you, where either you're going through a car wash or a bad hard rainstorm and you're having water drip through the fresh air vent and on to the floor covers, the floor mats, and next thing you know, you're not having any kind of airflow through your vent because, well, the cabin air filter is all loaded all up with soap and water or whichever it might be. I have a little bit of a fix for you, and it's relatively easy. My wife went on over to the Honda dealership and got a couple of parts, and so while she got the part that we need, I also had her go ahead and pick up another one of these. It's the main weather stripping for the hood. So this car is a 2005, so after 15 something odd years or older, some of these weather stripping seals are going to get dried out and they won't seal really all that well. So we're going to take care of a couple things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this. This gets pulled off first. And this is pretty easy. It just snaps in a hole. So it doesn't take much to peel this off. Sometimes it'll come out of the weather stripping, but no big deal because I'm going to be replacing this whole thing anyway. And then after that, just a matter of getting a screwdriver, flat blade screwdriver and/or pliers, and just trying to pry these little two things out. Once you pry these out of the hole, then the whole plastic piece will lift up. So we'll do that. And before we take off that little plastic piece, I'm going to go ahead and just pull the rest of this weather stripping off. Sometimes the little thing's going to be stuck in there, but no big deal. You just take a little screwdriver or your finger as best as you can and just try to work it up out of the hole like that. We'll work all the way around here to pull this off since we're going to be replacing it anyway. One here, one there, so that all just comes off of there. Set that aside. Probably could save these tiny little clips for something else. You never know, might need some. As you can see, that didn't take much to pull off. I'll show you the gasket on that cover here in a moment, but first I thought I might show you that right down in there you can make out the fresh air filter. It's brand new. I had a shop replace those filters. There's a better look at it. The fresh air filters are relatively brand new. Had my fingers down in there to see if they really were soggy wet, which they are. So what happens is that, as you can sort of make out with the dirt that's right along here, all that dirt and stuff, what's happening is that that plastic piece of weather stripping all on it is all dried out, flat and sticky, and just doesn't seal real well. So oftentimes what happens is that you have an awful lot of heavy water, like a car wash, a rainstorm, whatever it might be, and the water, being so much of it, will just kind of make its way through the gasket seal and just start pouring in through that fresh air vent. And then you have water all over the floor. So I'm going to take a rag and cleaner and clean all of this up really good all along here, so that the next new piece with a brand new gasket is going to seal on there much better and keep all of the water and all that stuff all out of it, from dripping all over the floor. And so you might be wondering, well, maybe there's something plugged up. Well, here's the drain. That's the drain where all the water is supposed to just kind of collect down in this area down in here, and you get this hump right here. But the water collects here and goes out through that drain hole. And I ran quite a bit of water, high pressure, and I felt all the way around down along the fender, inside the plastic, and there's just nothing that's obstructing the water from flowing down through there to the ground. So I've checked all of that for quite a while, and the same thing for the other side. I ran quite a bit of high pressure water through there, and I just did not see or find any kind of obstruction or anything of that nature to keep the water from flowing freely. It's just that what's happening, I think, is it's doing what it's supposed to do. The water's collecting here and going out down through the drain, but it's also coming down through here. So when the water and soap, whatever it might be, flows down through here enough, it's going to go through that old, worn out, dried out, flattened gasket and just start kind of pouring down inside that fresh air vent and all over the floor. And sometimes when you have both things, a lot of water flowing down through here and a lot of water here, kind of build up, and it might start spilling over too. So hopefully this new plastic piece will prevent that, and as well as that new weather stripping goes along the hood. So here is the original part, and I'll show you here in the sun if it can make it out real well. Kind of see it just looks just so flattened out, dried out, and maybe sticky. It's like that all the way, pretty much all the way around. It's all it's dried out. It doesn't seal really well in some places, especially along here. It's just all flattened down, gummy, sticky. There's just not a lot of springiness to it. And so what happens on some occasions, and even along here too, is that water and even soap will get into it, and it'll just kind of just get through here and pour in through the fresh air vent all over the floor inside the car. So I need to get this replaced. You can either get a whole new plastic piece, or if you want, you can probably scrape all of this old stuff off and maybe get a whole new foam gasket or whatever you might want to use and just glue it back on here or stick it back on there. You can do it that way too for a lot cheaper than buying a whole new plastic piece, because there's really nothing wrong with the plastic piece itself. It's just all this gasket is all dried out, sticky and mushed down, and doesn't really seal much of anything when it's all dried out like it is and worn out from weather. Hot, cold, and rain and humidity and everything else. This is the You see that real well. That's the cowl top. That's for the front. You have the part number right there. And made in Canada, don't you know it? So the same thing happened on my other car here, my 2002 Lincoln Town Car, where I had the same kind of situation where this whole plastic piece here, this is two separate pieces, hard to tell, but you know, two separate big pieces here, in which, you know, this piece is all bolted down really well. But what would happen is that there's gasket all underneath of here, and that gasket just get old and dried out and sticky and gummy and mushed down and wouldn't seal real well. So there would be situations where, you know, water get into it, and I had no fresh air vent. I just stuffed this in here, so I don't know if I need to replace it at some time or some point, but this car had no fresh air vent. And I looked it all up there. It was never designed for a fresh air vent, or fresh air filter I should say, to be placed in here. So I just kind of made my own. I just took a couple pieces of filter and just stuffed down in there. Seems to do pretty good job. But anyway, unlike the Honda, this car has a little drain right here, and I have to keep an eye on it, because if I don't keep it cleared out and washed out, it'll get loaded all up with stuff real quick and bad, and the water will start building up. It wouldn't take much for water to overflow here, and I think that was one half of it, and the other half of it was just that the gasket all under here was just dried out and wasn't sealing real well, so just water was just seeping in through the fresh air vent anyway. So I did both. I did not buy a new piece. I just took a big tube of gasket stuff and silicone stuff. I went all the way around the edges, so it's on there permanent. But there's really no reason to go ahead and pull it off unless I need to replace the blower fan maybe. That might be the only exception, but other than that, it's running fine. So I got this all permanent sealed in, and unless I absolutely have to pull it off. And so as long as I keep this part cleaned out, which is the same thing as that drain I showed you for the Honda, it's going to be draining through here and not getting inside the floor of the car. So this is working pretty well. I got it all sealed all up, and it's not leaking water into it. So the same thing applies over here with my wife's 2005 Honda. Is that now the drains on that are clear. We ran water through it. It's just that what's happening in this case is that all this gasket sealer is just not any good anymore. So now, as I kind of want to show you the difference. Now this is the old part. Like I mentioned, it's all flattened down, gummy, squished, dried out. It doesn't look like it would seal real well on most things. At some point, it's sometimes going to leak water and even soap through it. So this is the old part, and this is the new part here. You can see there's quite a bit of difference. You have quite a bit more fresh, spongy gasket here, sealant. It's a lot better than the other. It's higher. It's not all dried all out. It's not gummy or sticky or flattened down. This is much better. This is going to definitely seal up far better than the other piece. So if I can get with one hand, kind of make the difference. So which one do you think is going to seal up better? The one in the front or the one in the back? So what's nice about this new part is to give you all brand new things here to secure it down into the body with. So you don't have to really bring too much over from the other part, except for those tiny little plastic grommet pieces that fit down into the holes. So meanwhile, I'm going to take these and I'll take some cleaner and I'll clean down that surface so this new part I'll have a nice clean fresh surface to seal on. Keep all of the water and stuff all out of it. I'll just take a little bit of just fresh clean all surface cleaner, and that should be enough to clean up that surface. I'm just using that just because that's just what I found. I guess that will work. I just need something just to clean that old stuff off so the new plastic cover will seal on there a lot better. And the other thing I got to do is, you might see there's a couple of little plastic grommets that are still in the holes. I need to take those out too. Alright, after quite a bit of elbow grease, I got the mounting surface all cleaned all up best as I can. I may have missed a couple little spots, but it shouldn't be all that big of a deal. It should still seal up just as well. I mean, I missed a few spots right there. Can't really get up real good, but I got the vast majority of it. It should still seal up a lot better than it did. So I'm going to put on that new plastic piece, and just a matter of just kind of pressing it into those holes and putting the little grommet pieces all in there to hold it in place with the brand new weather strip. Alright, that'll take just a little bit of doing. It is a brand new plastic piece with all new gasket sealant stuff behind it. So just a matter of getting it all to fit correctly. I didn't really quite do that very well at first, but I got to have this rubber piece in there properly. And just a matter of just, securing it down inside. This little grommet thing popped out on me. I'll have to fetch that. Anyway, so just a matter of just kind of getting this little corner piece in there where it's supposed to be in there. And I don't know if I still have it quite right, because I'm just used to the old one being just whatever. But once you kind of get it lined up, it'll just kind of snap in the holes, and just get the little, that one there and then that one there, which popped out. So I'll have to see where it went off to. This is brand new, so it's not going to quite exactly fit as well as the old one did. The old one's all stretched out. So I'll look for that other piece later, put it back on there. But for meanwhile, this is the brand new weather stripping. It doesn't matter which way it goes, just a matter of taking your thing here like this and just kind of popping it in the hole. guess I got that in there all the way. Probably going to take a while for it to seat in because it is brand new. It's going to be a little stiff. And that's all there is to doing that. So now we have all new weather stripping. Just a matter of trying to locate that little grommet thing to put it back in there. Maybe try to figure out why that's not quite sitting as flat as I would like. Unless something has to go, I mean, it looks like that's supposed to go over the other piece, but it might just be the way it's made. But anyway, if I have to, if I got to pull some things off to look at it again, I can do that. But that's pretty much the gist of it anyway. Just a matter of kind of lining it up and popping into the holes, and that should stop the water and anything else from getting into the passenger side floor through the fresh air vent. So that's all I was wanting to show you today. I might tweak on this a little bit more in case I don't have something quite exactly right, but you might, I'm sure you get the idea. So anyway, so that's all I was wanting to show you about today. Wanted to thank you very, very much for watching. Give me a like. I think this video is going to help someone and help you. It means an awful lot to me. And if you could, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. So that would also help out a great deal in bringing you even more high quality content for you. So that's hopefully this will be helpful to you and have some value. And so until the next video, I'll see you then. I'll probably get back into doing more relaxing, easy listening, beautiful American Airlines reel-to-reel tape videos that I play on my internet radio station, WJST, jetset.com. So you can check out my website, WJSTjetset.com, listen to my station, and my station's also available on a number of different apps too. Alright, that's all for now, and I'll see you in the next one.